Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to 4Strategy Gaming. Going to be casting another series for you today. Today we're going to be looking at a series between MTW's Dimaga and Taurent. This is a Protoss vs Zerg here on game number 1. We are on Metalopolis. Should be a nice and exciting matchup. Definitely looking forward to it. Looking forward to casting some more Dimaga. I personally am quite a fan of Dimaga. I think he's a very strong and solid Zerg player. I did have some people, now I haven't looked at these replays, I did have some people ask me about why Dimaga seemed to lose a lot of games that I cast. I think a primary reason for that is because he himself doesn't release a lot of his games, so lots of footage. This is kind of the same case with Idra. When he doesn't release his own games, that means that the footage of him being released is typically people who have played against him who have won. Now again, I don't know the outcome of this series. I'm interested to see how it plays out, but either way, Dimaga is a good Zerg player, have no doubt about it. Just because you see, YouTube games of people like Dimaga and Idra losing a lot of the time, it's pretty much because their opponent is the one posting the game, and obviously if their opponent's posting the game, it's probably because they won the game. So, but every now and then we do get games of both players, Idra and Dimaga, that get eked out of them winning for one reason or another. So yeah, let's just get right into this game. Taurent's going to be moving out with his probe scout right now. Now he was aware of this overlord, so he knows exactly where Dimaga is, so it's going to allow him to push right into his base and have a good idea of precisely what Dimaga is going for. What he's going to be checking for at this early stage of the game is when the spawning pool comes down, when the extractor comes down, and then of course looking for an expansion as well. Trying to move down a probe here and trying to prevent this expansion. There we go, pylon going down. Look at that. So excellent placement of the pylon there just in time to stop Dimaga from getting that expansion. And in a response, it looks like Dimaga is going to be planning on dropping that pool because he knows it's going to be a little bit of time before he's able to get this up. And that's just kind of what you have to do as Zerg. Now, we're going to be seeing Dimaga. Looks like he's doing a proper response, bringing down a few drones to deal with this, and as soon as that pulls up, he's going to be getting some Zerglings. That's what he's going to need to do. You don't want to overreact. Like, I wouldn't suggest taking all of your drones off the line, because if you do, that's going to really crap out your economy, right? That's the basic idea there, and that's obviously not a situation you want to be in. So do what you can to take down this pylon, and then hopefully he's going to be able to get that hatchery down right after that if he can manage to shoo away this probe. But no, another pylon going down. So real constant harass here, stopping the expansion. But again, as soon as this pulls up, Dimaga is going to be all set. Extractor is up and saturated, so going to be getting some Vespene, likely to be moving into that metabolic boost. Now over inside of Taurent's base, what are we seeing? Cybernex core coming down right now, a little bit late though. Look at that, 21 supply. So that I'm going to guess that Cybernex core came up somewhere in the vicinity of 19, and that's a little bit later than typically you would see it. So maybe a little bit of miss macro. Maybe he's paying too much attention over here to the harassment. Now as soon as this pylon drops, which should be in just a moment, and these Zerglings are out, so it should be able to shoo away this probe and stop him from dropping any additional pylons. But something to realize, although he's delayed the expansion, which is clearly a good thing, delaying Dimaga's expansion is a good situation. The problem is that he's wasted 200 resources, and the 200 resources that he has to make up for because they are pylons, and otherwise he would get supply blocked like he just did there. We just saw that Stalker wasn't coming out for a moment. So that's the issue in doing something like that. If you don't cancel the pylon before it finishes and drop down another one, you do lose all of those resources once it inevitably dies. So definitely not the best situation because of that, but again, denying the expansion, delaying it at the very least, is not that bad at all. First queen is out for Dimaga, metabolic boost about halfway through. Second queen is coming out as well, taking all of the guys off the extractor. The reason, of course, for that is that he wants to get those extra minerals. It's going to allow him to drone up a little bit harder, get a nice strong economy, and then move into offensive units. Going to be, come on, inject larva. Let's see it happen. You're at 25. Do it. There we go. A little bit late than normal. A little bit late than you'd like to see. Also going to be dropping out a creep tumor and then moving the queen down to the expansion. Now, over here, looking at the front of Taurent's base, what are we going to be seeing? Looks like a 3-gate, starting out with a 3-gate and then an expansion. So Taurent's going to be trying to expand himself, trying to get a nice economy going, and then going to be moving into kind of a strong push, most likely. That's what you would expect. A lot of times when you see a relatively quick expansion from a Protoss player, it's because they want to amass units nice and early on and do what they can for damage. Stalker moving right inside of Dimaga's base, though, going to be fully aware of what's going on. You can see here, he did see that Roach Warren coming out. Although he's going to lose a Stalker, he did get that necessary scouting, so good job by Taurent there, getting a full scout and a full awareness of exactly what Dimaga's doing. Now that Zerglings are on the board and in mass with that speed upgrade, he's going to feel pretty safe to have some decent map control. Going to allow him to safely grab the Xel'Naga towers. One Stalker isn't going to be enough to take care of a group of Zerglings. Looks like he's moving in here. Checking the expansion right now for Taurent, so he's going to see this expansion go down. And right now Dimaga is aware. He needs to make that decision. Am I going to attack it, do some damage, or am I just going to expand myself? Wouldn't be surprised if he just grabbed another expansion, or he could mass up units. You know, really he's got two big opportunities here. He does have this Roach Warren out, layers coming in as well, so going to be looking to move up into that higher tech. Also getting this additional extractor here. That's going to of course let him afford those higher tech upgrades and units. Obviously, there we go. So Spine Crawler coming down right now for Dimaga, buying himself a little bit of time with the static defense here. Going to allow him to continue to drone up. You can see a nice economy here. Let's look at that income tab. So 37 harvesters for Dimaga, 2 Taurents 35. So he's at a slight advantage at the moment, at the least. Also have some roaches coming out right now. Well, one roach at the very least. So one roach coming out for Dimaga, and that roach alone will take on this Protoss army. Obviously not, but that'd be pretty interesting. Pretty interesting to see him coming out with just one roach. And here we go. Those are the upgrades. So making use of this layer now, getting that burrow upgrade as well as that speed upgrade for his roaches. That makes the roaches much, much more effective. With the speed upgrade, the roaches are slightly faster than stalkers. You can see here right now, moving at a 2.25 speed normally. That plus 0.67 is because he is on creep, but with that speed upgrade, it moves him up to 3.0 speed. And taking a look at the Stalker, movement speed is 2.95, so 3.0 slightly larger than 2.95, and that does allow the roaches to catch up to Stalkers. That is, of course, unless the Stalkers get blink. Now inside of Taurent's base, as far as build, looks like we are going to be seeing a 6 gate out of him, so not moving up to Robotics Bay. That could be a little bit of an issue. We can see here Burrow being researched right now for Dimaga, so with that in mind, burrowed roaches, now obviously that allows them to regen. It allows them to take care of roaches that are damaged, burrow them slightly, let them regen, and come back into combat. But the issue is that Taurent has nothing to be able to see it with. He doesn't have a forge. He's got no cannons coming up. And without that robotics, he's not going to have any observer anytime soon. So a little bit of an issue. We do have a pylon with warping field right here on the bottom. Looks like we're going to be seeing an aggressive push right now from Taurent. Lots and lots of stalkers, but Zerglings moving right into Taurent's expansion, taking advantage of the push by Taurent. Going to stop mining at this expansion for quite some time, forcing those probes up into the main base for Taurent there. So a little bit of an issue, but Taurent's going to pull through with this push, do what he can for damage. We do have a lot of roaches right now for Dimaga, though. Moving forward to engage the stalkers. Guardian shield going up. Are we going to see any force fields from Taurent? Yes, we do. Force field splitting the roaches in half. Roaches in the back not able within range, not able to do any damage. We are seeing that burrow go down again. Those damaged roaches, burrowing them, letting them regen, and putting them nice and safe. And the problem here for Taurent, like I had mentioned earlier, is that without that robotics, without the observer, he is not going to be able to see this, and he's not going to be able to deal with these roaches at all. So roaches burrowing underground, regenning to full health, and then going to be unburrowing as soon as they feel necessary. So it might be just chilling out there for a little bit of time. Nope, there we go, unburrowing, and expansion coming down right now for Dimaga. So Dimaga taking advantage of that slight economic advantage he got from attacking this expansion, killing a few probes, but primarily pulling those probes off the line for quite some time. We are seeing a split up of units right now for Taurent moving out with just a few stalkers. I'm going to say this isn't the wisest decision with these stalkers in such a small group, but look at this mass of roaches right now. If Dimaga happens to catch these stalkers out of position, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. Again, we do have that speed upgrade just finished right now for Dimaga, so he's going to be able to catch up with these roaches, these stalkers, and these stalkers can be in quite a bit of trouble now. Moving forward, getting within range, and then shooting, trying to pick off one at a time, trying to do as much damage as possible. You're going to see here 2 down so far. These roaches are slightly faster, so they're going to be able to catch up and do a little bit of damage. What Dimaga wants to do is he wants to get within range to one-shot them and then have them all attack at once. That's kind of the idea. That's the goal anyways. So right now, Taurent running for his life. His stalkers doing what they can to get away from these roaches. They are pretty terrified right now. Look at this giant army chasing all the stalkers. I would be quite frightened as well. I don't blame them for sure. Running up to the high ground, trying to get that advantage there without being seen from the roaches, so they're stayed alive slightly. Splitting up his forces, though. Dimaga might lose these roaches, no problem. Lots of damage. Zealot's going to be surrounding them, but no burrow going down. Lots of force fields going down right now for Taurent, but look at that additional use of that burrow, and here is that same issue for Taurent. Without the observers, without any cannons, he can't see these. He's going to let them regen, wait till the force fields dissipate, and then push back in. That's exactly what we expect. More force fields going down. Is he going to burrow these roaches? As a result, he may just the lower. There we go. So burrowing the roaches again. This is a big problem for Taurent. He can't deal with this. He can't see this. We do have more roaches news coming out right now for Dimaga, and the forces of Taurent dwindling. We do have a hallucination here of this Archon, but no, Taurent does call good game. So we can see that hallucination was researched. Hallucination. Now, why do I call hallucination? I have a hard time with the words when I'm casting sometimes, guys. I'm sorry about that. But good job between these two players. Good game between these two players. Dimaga making use of that tech there, getting that roach speed, allowing him to catch up to the stalkers and peel them off basically. And then of course that Burrow playing a huge role here, pretty much allowed him to mop up the forces of Taurent without taking much damage himself. So good job there by Dimaga. Definitely impressed with this play there. So this was the first game in the 3-game series. Going to be moving on to game number 2. As always, guys, if you like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Give a thumbs up to all of my videos. That helps out tremendously. And as always, keep watching and keep owning. Nice set strategies, trying to avoid the probe there, trying to make it so that he didn't see the probe, and going to be moving down the expansion before Taurent can do anything about that. Very sneaky action there by the probe. You did see he was moving up and around the probe and making sure that he didn't see him moving down, but a pylon is going to be placed right down here in the corner. Now Dimaga fully aware of this. This might force Taurent to cancel the pylon. We might be seeing a cannon rush. I believe that's what is attempting to go on right now. The good thing about Taurent's placement here is it's going to prevent a surround of these drones. These drones are not going to be able to get a full surround on it. You can see only 4 able to engage. Might be seeing one more pylon placed up here. Where is that cannon action? Come on, cannons. I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be pretty interesting. Canning rushes, hilarious every single time. Frustrating to deal with, but hilarious when performed properly. But no, deciding to abandon the cannon rush, just going to let that pylon drop, and probably going to be going with some cannons at the front of his base here. So there goes that expansion. And where is our cannon buddy? Here we go. Going to be placed right over here. Right there we go. No, that's a pylon. So no early game defense right now. Now, of course, Taurent isn't too worried at this point about Zerglings running into his base because he knows that that pool is not yet finished. You can see here with the scout information, has seen that the pool isn't up quite yet, so not too concerned. Gonna need to come down with the cannon at some point. With no gateway right now, of course, there will be no zealots or anything else on the board. There is the gateway, and come on, let's go, cannon. You're gonna need it soon.